Theodore. He's a tugboat and a friendly tugboat too. A friendly tugboat too. Oh, Theodore likes to do the things that friendly tugboats do.
4 and 7 are 11 and 8 are 19 and 6 are... Oh, now where was I? Hello. I'm trying to get some work done, but I'm getting all mixed up. I can't concentrate with Rodney playing his bagpipes. Let's see. 4 and 7 are 11 and 8. Oh, there he is again. You know, I wish he would just go away and stop playing. 4 and 7. Did you hear that? Listen. No bagpipes. My wish came true. Rodney stopped playing. Do you think I have superpowers? Or was I just lucky? That reminds me of the time that Theodore was wondering the same thing. Theodore and Hank were just waking up to a gray day in the big harbor. Oh, look at the fog, groaned Hank. I am, said Theodore. There's nothing else to look at. It was true. The whole harbor was hidden behind a thick blanket of fog. I wish the sun would come out, sighed Theodore. Well, as soon as Theodore said this, something amazing happened. The sun broke through the fog. Hank and Theodore were really surprised. Theodore, your wish came true, Hank gasped. Why, you must have superpowers. Well, don't you know that I'm Theodore the All Powerful? Theodore laughed. All my wishes come true. He was just joking, of course. But then he looked at the sky. But the sun does seem to be coming out, he said to himself. Why don't you make another wish? Hank asked as they got ready for the morning work meeting. I want to see if you really are Theodore the All Powerful. Theodore smiled. He didn't believe he had superpowers, but it was fun to pretend. All right, Hank, he said, looking around the harbor. I wish that we could tow that shiny new container ship into her dock. Just then, the dispatcher began to give up the day's work. Theodore and Hank, he said, I'd like you to tow the new container ship into her dock. Emily, would you? Theodore and Hank didn't hear another word. They looked at each other in amazement. Theodore's wish had come true again. Oh, I'm just lucky, Theodore said. I think. Theodore sure didn't feel like he had superpowers later that day. He and Hank were trying to tow Emma Sophia, the container ship. But no matter what they did, Emma Sophia wouldn't budge. I'm sorry to be so difficult, she said. I seem to be stuck. Just then, George sailed by. You need help? He asked when he saw the tugs were having trouble moving the ship. Thanks, George, but we don't need any help, Hank answered as they tugged. Theodore can do it. He has superpowers. Theodore doesn't have any superpowers, George laughed. That's silly. Yes, he does, said Hank. He wished the sun would come out, and it did. And he wished that we could move Emma Sophia, and we are. Well, it doesn't look like you're moving her to me, grinned George. Well, it was true. Emma Sophia still hadn't budged a bit. All right, Theodore, George joked. Let's see you use those superpowers. Suddenly, Theodore felt silly. Oh, I wish Emma Sophia would move, he thought to himself as he pulled. And I wish George would go away and stop bothering me. Just as Theodore made his wish, Emma Sophia began to move. All of a sudden, she lurched ahead with a big whoosh of water. It took Theodore and Hank a moment to steady her, but then it was clear sailing right into her dock. And Theodore was so happy to see Emma Sophia moving again that he didn't notice that George had disappeared. Later that day, Theodore was moving a barge to the oil refinery when Emily came by. Have you seen George? She asked. Theodore thought for a moment. No, he said. Not since this morning when I was towing Emma Sophia. Thanks, Emily said as she left. I wonder where he disappeared to. Theodore wondered too. Suddenly, he remembered that he had wished George would go away. But I couldn't make George disappear, he thought. I don't have superpowers. If I did, I could just wish these barrels would move themselves. Theodore smiled and went back to his work. He was almost to the refinery when Fodak sailed by. He was looking for George, too. Well, if you do see him, ask George to meet me at Willie's Island, Fodak said. I wish he would show up soon. So do I, said Theodore. He was beginning to worry that his wish really had come true. Why else would George just disappear? But there was no time to worry now. Theodore had to get the barge to the oil refinery. He had just pulled up to the dock when Hank raced in, all out of breath. Theodore, he panted. Yes, Hank, said Theodore. What is it? I need you to use your superpowers. I can't find George anywhere. Can you wish that he would show up? Now Theodore was very worried. I'll wish as hard as I can, he said. Thanks. See you later. Theodore thought as Hank left. Maybe I really do have superpowers. I wished the sun would shine. I wished Emma Sophia would move. And I wished George right out of the big harbor. Even though it was beginning to get dark, Theodore knew what he had to do. He had to go find George himself. He decided to look outside the harbor. First, he scanned the ocean out by Blandford Buoy. Blandford, have you seen George? Theodore asked Blandford. No, Theodore, said Blandford. Well, thanks anyway, said Theodore. Later, for what seemed like hours, Theodore searched along the coast for George. It was cold and dark, but Theodore wouldn't stop. He was sure it was his fault George was lost. He had to find him.
Oh, I wish George would come back. I wish George would come back, he said over and over again.
But it was no use. His superpowers weren't working. George was nowhere to be found. Theodore's stack was beginning to ache from the cold, and it was so dark now he could barely see past his own bow. He sailed up to a large rock to rest his engine.
I wish I never had superpowers to begin with,
He said loudly.
You never did.
A familiar voice answered from out of the darkness. It was George. He sailed out from behind the rock.
George!
Well, what are you doing here?
George asked Theodore.
I was looking for you.
Theodore explained.
I wished you would go away and stop bothering me, and my wish came true.
No, it didn't,
George replied.
I went away because the dispatcher asked me to help a trawler down in Cayley's Cove.
But why was everyone looking for you then?
Theodore asked.
Because I missed towing practice to help the trawler. Not because you wished me away.
George smiled.
Believe me, Theodore, you don't have any superpowers.
But I wished that I would find you, and I did,
said Theodore.
No, you didn't,
George pointed out.
I found you, remember?
Well, Theodore smiled. It was true.
And I'm glad you did, he said to his friend. Now I just wish we were home, safe and sound.
You wish?
George said in a surprised voice. Theodore had to smile. Today hadn't been a very good day for wishes.
I forgot. I'm not Theodore the All Powerful anymore,
He laughed.
I guess a wish won't get me home.
Follow me,
bellowed George.
Anything you say,
laughed Theodore. And it wasn't long before Theodore's wish really did come true. Theodore and his good friend George were home at the great ocean dock.
4 and 7, 11 and 8 is 19, and 6 is 25. There, done. Now that my work is finished, I kind of wish I could listen to Rodney playing his bagpipes again. This time, I know just how to make my wish come true. I'm going to ask him. Thanks for visiting us here in the Big Harbor, and we'll see you all again next time. Rodney, would you play us another tune?
Theodore